play this weekend against the Steelers. Wilson, you'll remember, tore his meniscus in the first preseason game. He hasn't played since. Chargers edge rusher Joey Bosa was placed on injured reserve today after suffering a groin tear in Sunday's loss to the Jags. He'll have surgery, but he is expected to return later this season. That's according to his head coach, Brandon Staley. A couple of marquee running backs dealing with some bumps and bruises. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor didn't practice today with toe soreness, and Panthers playmaker Christian McCaffrey also sat out of today's practice with a quad issue. And rounding out the NFL news, Jeff Miller, the NFL Senior Vice President of Health and Safety Policy, says early indications are that the Dolphins followed proper concussion protocol when examining Tua Tagovailoa on Sunday. He left in the first half before returning in the second to lead Miami to a win.
A rematch of Super Bowl 55 between the Bucs and Chiefs is set for Sunday night in Tampa, but this seems trivial considering what is going on right now as Hurricane Ian hit the west coast of Florida hard earlier this afternoon. Each passing hour, the location of the game remains in jeopardy as the Bucs are in Miami right now. Michelle Steele has more in tonight's SportsCenter report about the potential impact Mother Nature's having on upcoming sporting events.
With Hurricane Ian poised to inflict catastrophic damage, crushing winds, flooding rain, and an historic storm surge that threatens large portions of Florida, including the Buccaneers' home in Tampa. Head coach Todd Bowles is putting football in perspective this week.
Our thoughts and hearts go out to everybody in Tampa that's still there and hoping that they recover well and it doesn't hit them very hard. That's the biggest thing. What we do is really small entertainment for people that go through a lot of rough things, and hopefully, we can provide that. So it's a bigger than just the football.
The Bucs left Tampa Tuesday, relocating football operations to the Dolphins facility in Miami Gardens, while they're in Cincinnati for Thursday night football. The Bucs also moving family members, even players' pets, to South Florida. But Bucs linebacker Devin White has a stable of horses at home, and he's leaving them there.
My barn is more expensive than my house. So I think my barn is for these type of things, hopefully nothing, comes too close. I just been watching the cameras and I have somebody working at the barn that stayed behind.
A host of other football programs, including Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida, changed game dates and at times venues for the severe weather. The Tampa Bay Lightning, meantime, are in Nashville to play preseason games and continue training camp until further notice. The Tampa Bay Rays are on the road for the rest of the season, though there is a chance MLB postpones or relocates the Braves' upcoming homestand against the Mets.
As for the Bucs, Bowles said hopefully they can still host the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday night, but that's up to the league. Bowles adding this Bucs team has cleared their biggest challenge, and that's, quote, keeping everybody's loved ones safe. Otherwise, their thoughts are with the city of Tampa right now. I'm Michelle Steele, ESPN.
Michelle, thank you for much more. Let's bring in senior NFL insider Adam Schefter and senior MLB insider Jeff Passan. Adam, let's start with you. What's the timeline on a decision to possibly relocate that Chiefs-Bucs game on Sunday night?
Well, Kevin, everybody's thoughts are with Tampa, but at this point in time, from a football standpoint, the league has been on the phone with the Buccaneers constantly the last few days, trying to figure out where they can play the game on Sunday night. Now, the league is determined to play this game on Sunday night, and it's going to be played at that time. The question is whether it will be in Tampa or whether it will be in Minneapolis, which is where the league would move the game to if they can't play it in Tampa on Sunday night. The league doesn't want to divert resources from the city of Tampa, depending on how much damage there is. They'll monitor that in the coming days and then make a decision here, I would imagine relatively soon, about where to play that game between the Buccaneers and Chiefs on Sunday night.
This is a far-reaching storm that goes beyond just Florida, Jeff. We heard Michelle Steele mention the MLB aspect. The hurricane could impact what is a massive series in Atlanta this weekend between the Mets and the Braves, who are currently tied for the division lead. Take us through a few scenarios that MLB is looking at right now.
No, it's not as definitive with MLB, whereas the NFL says we're playing this game on Sunday night. They've been in communication with Major League Baseball, both the Mets and the Braves, since the weekend. And the Mets wanted to play the first game of the series that's supposed to start on Friday. On Thursday, the Braves have played for 13 straight days. said no thank you. They believe that there's going to be a window to get in a game on Friday. It's scheduled for nighttime. They could play that during the day. The likelihood is that Saturday's game will be rained out. If it is, Major League Baseball is hoping to get a doubleheader in on Sunday, one in the afternoon, and of course the last a Sunday night baseball game. If they can't get all 3 games in, and it comes down at the end when both teams right now are 97 and 58 going into this last stretch of games, there's a possibility that there could be games played next Thursday, the day between the last day of the regular season and the first day of the wild card series. That is a scenario nobody at Major League Baseball or with the teams wants to contend with at this point, and they're hoping that it'll all work itself out.
Okay, we will continue to follow this developing story. And once again, our thoughts are with everyone impacted by the hurricane. We'll certainly keep you up to date here on SportsCenter. Adam, Jeff, thank you. El?
Thank you.
Additional developing story with Tua Tagovailoa and his status for Thursday's game against the Bengals. We mentioned that he did not enter concussion protocol, but he's dealing with a back issue stemming from the hit that he took last week against the Bills. Miami officially listed him as questionable this afternoon. Certainly for a team that is on a roll, is a point of emphasis to have their quarterback on the field. As we say hello to our Dolphins reporter Marcel Louis-Jacques, who joins us now from Cincinnati. And Marcel, what hurdles does Tua have to clear in order to be available tomorrow night against the Bengals?
Well, El, it's my understanding that Tua has made good progress from yesterday to today, and that signs are positive, pointing toward him playing right behind me here Thursday night against the Bengals. But right now, it's a matter of functionality rather than pain tolerance. He puts so much emphasis on torquing his core to get power behind his throws that it's going to come down to how much pain he can tolerate before it starts to impact his mechanics, as Mike McDaniel told us yesterday. A final decision will be made Thursday morning, and if he can't go, it'll be Teddy Bridgewater taking the start from Miami, with Skylar Thompson, the 7th-round rookie out of Kansas State, backing him up. And it's not just Tua on that injury report. McDaniel told us this week that he's concerned about several players, and if you see the injury report we got a couple hours ago, you can see why. There's a lot of big names on that list. Teron Armstead, Xavier Howard, Brandon Jones, Jalen Waddle. I mean, the list goes on. All these guys listed as questionable. In Armstead's case, McDaniel trusts his veterans' preparation, that he'll be ready to play even if he doesn't practice in full throughout the week. And more or less the same goes for Howard. But if Howard can't play, that means the Dolphins are without their top 2 corners against maybe the best wide receiving trio in the NFL. So it's something to keep an eye on as we transition into game day and eventually into kickoff.
Yeah, maybe the totality of those injuries is why our Football Power Index says the Bengals have a 75% chance to win tomorrow night. Marcel, thank you with the latest surrounding Tua and the Dolphins' injuries.
Still to come on SportsCenter. New comments from Jalen Hurts today. The Eagles QB takes the mic with his thoughts on the Eagles' undefeated